We're here today to support Lesly Muñoz for House District 22. We're also here to help Dan Rayfield and also Tobias Reed and their campaigns. And we have Tobias with us right here. I just want to say that I have had the opportunity to work with all three of them, and I especially have had the honor to work with Lesly Muñoz over the years. And what I have found in her, I found not only that she will represent in House District 22 the Latinx community, but she will represent the working class people in our district and in our state. She will not only fight for us because she knows what our issues are, because she's one of us. She's one of us. She's a union member. And so when we elect Lesly Muñoz to House District 22 as our state representative, we're putting one of our own in office. And she will fight to the end for workers' rights. I gotta say that we're hearing rumors right now that in 2001, we were able to secure one of the major victories for farm workers when we passed in the state of Oregon, in the Oregon legislature, farm worker overtime. We are only 5 states in the United States that offers farm worker overtime pay to farm workers. Can you imagine? There's 45 states that don't have this law, right? And so we're one of 5, so we're really lucky and fortunate to have that. Now there's rumors going around that the growers, right, and all their allies are going to try to put a bill in the state legislature to do away with farm worker overtime. Are we going to let them? Hell no. So this is why this election is really important for us, that we elect as many progressive, as many labor supporters, labor movement supporters as possible. And I'll tell you, with Lesly Muñoz, right, we're electing one of our own. You know, and she'll be there day in and day out, walking shoulder to shoulder, hand in hand with the labor movement and with the farm workers and with immigrants. So I know it's not going to be easy to win this district. You know, we lost by over 500 votes, which is a minimal amount. It's, 500 votes. We can probably knock on more than 500 doors today, right? So this is why PECUN is committed to working day in and day out to ensure that House District 22, because I was in that fight back in the day when Secretary of State Bill Bradbury, carved out this district, House District 22, with the idea that it would become a Latino district. So, we're going to win back we're going to win it back, and with Lesly Muñoz. And I just think that there's no going back on this, right? We're going to throw down not only double, we're going to throw down triple time so that we can make this happen. So with that, I just want to welcome you to PECUN, and we'll have a good day. We'll have a good day canvassing, and I think that's, to me, is really important that we get labor all involved. I know that we have a lot of labor unions. I know I see T-shirts from La Una. The nurses are here. OEA. We have AFT. Also want to recognize some of the members of Morena. That's the party that put Claudia Sheinbaum, the first woman president in Mexico. Some of the members are here, so I want to give a shout out to them. And with that, I want to introduce a good friend of mine's. We worked many, many years together. So I want to bring up Graham, trainer from the president of the AFL-CIO. Thank you, brother.
Give it up for Ramon Ramirez, a hero and a mentor to so many of us in this room. So thank you, Ramon. And a big thanks to Reina and the whole Pacun team who've been so gracious to host and to use your sophisticated field talent. So give it up for the Pacun team as well. And Ramon and I are going to trip over each other a little bit because I got the full list of all the unions in the house. So I'm going to do that real quick. We've got AFT Oregon in the house. We've got the American Federation of Government Employees in the house. We've got AFSCME in the house. We've got the Oregon Nurse Association in the house. We've got the Oregon School Employees Association in the house. We've got the laborers in the house. We've got the IBEW in the house. We've got SAG-AFTRA in the house. We've got the Teamsters in the house. We've got the Oregon Education Association in the house. We've got OFNHP in the house. And again, we've got Pacun deep in the house. Awesome. What a great turnout. Also want to give a shout out to Lesly's amazing team. So obviously others will introduce Lesly, but she's got an incredible team. And I'm also going to give some shout outs to the elected leaders and candidates in the room. First of all, we've got State Treasurer Tobias Reed running to be in Oregon's next Secretary of State. We've got Speaker of the House Julie Fahey in the House. We've got House Majority Leader Ben Bowman in the House. And we've also got the House Majority Leader's fellows aimed at making people engaged in politics in the House. We've got Representative Nost in the House. We've got Representative Pham in the House. We've got the co-chair Ways and Means, Representative Sanchez in the House. We've got Representative Sosa in the House. Holy cow. Did I miss anyone? Oh, and Representative Crump in the House. You just came in. Who else? Representative Nelson in the House, union member. And soon to be Representative Willie Choatson in the House. Now, did I miss anyone? And the Working Families Party in the House. Thank you for being here. Okay, so I'm just going to be brief this morning. I want to just say a couple things. First of all, I think it's really fair to say that here in Oregon, together, we have done some great things, haven't we? For working people, for farm workers. Ramon talked about some of that work. We've organized new workers at a rapid pace. These last few years have been incredible, and we're making history here in Oregon where we have the highest per capita filing of union elections of any state outside of D.C. We've passed historic and nation-leading policies, haven't we? We've elected union members just like Lesly Muñoz, whereas 1/3 of all Oregon labor endorsed candidates are now union members or former union members or staff. That's a great stat. And nationally, people take notice, right? Places like Oxfam America, they do reports about who's the best and worst state to be a worker. Oregon's usually first, if not the 1 or 2 or 3. And we should celebrate those wins, shouldn't we? We should absolutely celebrate and take stock in the wins that we've made for working people. And we must get back to work, right? Because working people in Oregon are still hurting, aren't they? The rent is too damn high, isn't it? Inflation and price gouging are eroding our purchasing power, am I right? And too many folks still can't get ahead no matter how damn hard they work, am I right? Now, I had an experience recently that was interesting. I had a politician that asked me if if labor was happy? And I had a hard time knowing how to answer that. Frankly, I was a little offended. I was a little pissed off. I was a little spicy in my response. Because here's the thing. Until farm workers and other excluded workers can access and benefit from our nation's labor laws, labor won't be happy, will we? Until no worker has to fear retaliation or harassment from their boss due to who they love, the color of their skin, or their immigration status, labor won't be happy, am I right? And until every Oregon worker is able to not just live, but thrive, every Oregon labor activist won't be happy, am I right? And so that's why this election is so important. We must keep fighting. We have to keep fighting, and we have to keep winning. And that's why here at the Oregon AFL-CIO, in collaboration with our partners, we've launched the largest independent field program where 300,000 labor voters need to be educated, mobilized, and turned out to make sure that we continue to win. Am I right? That's why we will knock on over 100,000 doors just part of our independent labor program. That's why face-to-face conversations are so damn important. There's nothing more important that we can do than what we're going to do today. Because the labor movement, if you haven't picked up in the news, is pretty damn popular. We're more popular than Taylor Swift and ice cream, if you didn't know. And because of that, in part, you are a trusted messenger today. You are a trusted messenger. You're the most powerful messenger that can knock on a voter's door today. And so that's why it's so important to finish your packets, come back, celebrate, have lunch, come back tomorrow and the next day and do it again for the next 40 days or however long it's going to be. That way we can continue to win for workers, because otherwise labor won't be happy. Am I right? So now it's my distinct honor. Every time we have national labor leaders in town, I get so jazzed. And we've got a couple special guests today. And it's my distinct honor to introduce the AFT National Executive Vice President, Evelyn DeJesus, to the stage to give another welcome and fire the crowd up.
Buenos días! Buenos días! Good morning, brothers and sisters. My name is Evelyn DeJesus, y soy la primera Latina in 108 years to be the first Latina national officer. I am so excited. I am here with my sister Randy, and I'm going to talk a little bochinche about her in a bit. So let me tell you why we're here. We have been, for 2.5 weeks, started 17 days cross-country to get out the vote. We've been to 6 states, 5,000 miles, 9 cities, 21 events, and you're number 22. And that's the importance. Not only do we believe in this work, we put our money where our mouth is, we put our spirit where it needs to be. So let's talk. First and foremost, I want to thank Picun for having us here today. But let's talk about a little bit about why we're here and the importance. And I really need you to hear me today. In this canvas, my friends and my brothers and sisters, we are showcasing grassroots democracy in action. When we knock on our neighbors' doors, remember, we are inviting them to cast their vote for hope, not fear. Because our sacred American freedoms are on the ballot on this election. Freedom to earn a decent living. Freedom to read and to learn what we want. Freedom to join a union and grow the labor movement. Freedom to enjoy quality, affordable health care. Freedom to live and to retire with a dignified retirement. Freedom to vote and to make sure that every vote is counted fairly. Freedom to pursue the promise of America for all Americans. That's why we're going to elect Kamala Harris and Tim Walz Dan Rayfield for Oregon Attorney General, and Lesly Muñoz for House District 22, and every candidate that stands with us today that share our vision for a better life. As Kamala says, we're not going back. What does she say? And when she and Tim say, when we fight, cuando luchamos, ganamos. So now, my friends, it gives me so much honor and pleasure and respect to introduce my president, Randy Weingarten, president of 1.8 million members. So, let me tell you a little bit about Randy. While extremists ban books, she gives millions of books away. When a member struggles to pay off their student debt because loan services and Betsy DeVos denied them legal relief, she sued them, and she won. She's on picket lines, across bargaining tables, and leading demonstrations, in the press, on TV, in Congress, in court, and in the White House, wherever and whenever the labor movement and her members need her, she shows up. She is there. So Randy, please, everyone, give me the pleasure. Let's hear it out for Randy Weingarten, president of the American Federation of Teachers. Woo. Come on down.
Let's hear it for Evelyn DeJesus. I met Evelyn. I just want to say something about Evelyn. Evelyn was a parent and a paraprofessional in the New York City public schools. I met her when she was a parent. There was a school downtown in New York City in Manhattan that somebody went into. The laborers will know that all of this is exactly the wrong way to do it. Somebody took a hammer into a wall, and there was all sorts of white dust. It turned out to be asbestos in a school where her kids were. She became, you see that power for all her kids. And one of our students that is a beloved student within the AFT community is here canvassing. Thank you, Ryan, for everything that you do. She went out with the teachers union that I was a staffer of at that time, and we fought for safe schools for all of our kids. And that same energy, I don't know, 30 years ago, is that energy you see as the executive vice president of the AFT right now. So Graham said a whole bunch of what I was going to say. But thank God he went through all of the initials. But see who is in the house right now. See who is in this canvas right now. A canvas that is in the farm workers' house. A canvas of laborers and public workers and school workers and healthcare workers and actors, and Teamsters, all in the farm workers' house. What does that tell us? Sorry, I'm a teacher, I'm not gonna. What does that tell us about who the labor movement is? And how, when we are together, we are community, we fight for community, we represent community, and we lift up community. And Oregon, look, I'm a New Yorker, so I say Las Vegas the wrong way, Nevada the wrong way, and Oregon the wrong way. But with Oregon goes the country. And Lesly Muñoz's race is exactly that issue, which is why, as Graham said, we are all out here together, because if, I know there are a lot of people that say when, but I say if until November 5th, because I don't take any. if Lesly wins, what happens in Oregon is that we can then get to fair taxation. What happens in Oregon is we worked really hard, my ONA and our colleagues, for the best safe staffing law in the country. The best. And that's because Oregon understood you can't just say thank you on a billboard to what healthcare workers did during COVID. We have to actually find ways to make sure that people have decent health care, and that starts with safe staffing in healthcare institutions, and the nurses led that. The higher ed and the K-12, not only educators, but our paraprofessionals, our school workers, they are fighting for decent resources for kids, pre-K through adult, every single day, so that kids can not only see their dreams, but dream them. But we need a fair taxation system in Oregon to do that. Every single one of these fights can't just be a knockdown, drag out every single year. See who is in the legislature. And Lesly's race, if we win, changes that terrain forever. Did I get that right? Did I get that right? Because think about it. I am sick and tired of Mr. Nike having that kind of influence in this state. You should have that influence in this state. It's your state. It's not just his state. It's your state. So that's why you hear that applause in this room. I see it all over the country. Workers want a decent shot. And frankly, we're all workers. Whether we're a farm worker, whether we're a teacher, whether we're a nurse, whether we're a construction worker, we're all workers. We want a decent shot. We want to make sure that for a fair day's work, we get a fair day's pay. How is that radical? That should be the value of America. We should make sure, we want to make sure we are not one illness away from bankruptcy. That's what medical debt does to us. We want to make sure that if we are the first generation going to college, that we shouldn't have such debt that we're paying for it after we retire. That's not fair. That's not right. We want to make sure we have a dignified retirement, which is, by the way, what Joe Biden did to save millions of retirees' pensions in that bill, and why so many Teamsters are now coming to Kamala Harris because she was a tie-breaking vote for that. But I'm talking fact. What's happening in the country? And this is what I want to leave you with. Fear versus freedom. Evelyn Graham talked about the freedom to organize, the freedom to read. That's why we give out books when they try to ban them. The freedom to live, the freedom to thrive, the freedom to make reproductive choices. This is what America should be about, freedom, freedom for all. But what's happened, because the American people are starting to move in the direction of saying, yeah, we want that. That's what we want. What you're seeing on the other side is fear-mongering. And I'm glad we're in the farm workers' house right now. Because all of what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, it's by design. Look, I'm Jewish. I had relatives that died in the Holocaust. when all of a sudden there is a saying or someone starts demonizing others, saying that people eat cats and dogs, that's to create hate. That's to otherize. That's to basically say, oh, they are bad. They did that on purpose. The Wall Street Journal reported that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance knew before Trump went on that stage that that accusation was untrue. J.D. Vance said last week on CNN that sometimes you have to make up stories to make a point. If you look at all the data in the country, migrant crime is far less than all of us who actually have lived here for a minute or two. They're doing this to create fear of the other, to say, oh, this is why we have to vote for Trump, because we're so fearful. That's what they're doing. That's why the canvas becomes so important. Because even look at what happens on TV. They otherize me all the time. You know, I got horns because I'm Jewish, because I'm gay, it's something else. They do that all the time. But it's really hard when you knock on somebody's door and you're their neighbor to do that to you. Because most Americans want the engagement. They want us to be together. They want us to fight for the value of America. They want us to fight for opportunity and freedom. And they want it for all. Graham said it. That's why the labor movement is so popular now. People see what we do. We are about all people. We are about good wages for everyone. We are about good retirement for everyone. We are about good, decent health care for everyone. These are American values. These are values of opportunity. These are values of freedom. That's why you are so important. Knocking on people's doors. You create trust. You create dialogue. You create conversation. That's what Kamala Harris and Tim Walz wants to do for the future. Biden has recreated the economy. We now have more manufacturing. We now have more infrastructure. Now we got to lower prices. Now we got to make sure people can have homes and home ownership. Now we have to get rid of medical debt. We got to get rid of student debt. We have to have the promise of America. But these 40 some odd days, because you know how much vote counts right now in Oregon, all the vote by mail, you are that messenger. So if you believe for 1 minute in the opportunity of America, what does that mean? If you believe in the freedom of America, if you believe that everyone has the right to thrive, what are we going to do? Canvas. What are we going to do? Get out the vote. So what are we going to do? First, canvas. Then second, what are we going to do? Get out the vote. What are we going to do? Canvas. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Canvas. What are we going to do? And then on election day, Lesly will win. And Dan will win. And Tobias will win. And Kamala and Tim will win. And the future will be ours. Thank you. And with that, my friend, the one who, if we get her here and in, we will change Oregon forever, Lesly Muñoz.
Gracias, Randy Weingarten, for being here. What an honor. And thank you to the labor movement. I'm so thrilled to see you all here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Lesly Muñoz, and I'm running to be your next state representative here in House District 22. Buenos días a todos, mi nombre es Lesly Muñoz y estoy postulada para ser la siguiente diputada aquí en el área 22. Gracias por venir, estoy bien emocionada de verlos a todos. So today's extra special for me because we're gathered here in the Pecun Hall. And I don't know how many of you know, but my grandfathers, both my maternal and my paternal grandfathers were braceros, including a lot of my uncles. They have passed, but I'm sure that they're seeing me today, and they're filled with joy, knowing that the stories, that they shared with me about how the United States was this land of opportunity and how this great country had a lot to offer, has actually brought me here today to talk to all of you about the opportunity of getting our seat back. So from my parents, I learned that hard work and community would bring me success, and that brought me here today. And I'm really excited to see all of labor present. The labor movement actually changed my life, and so in 2012, I was sitting in a course at PSU, finishing up my bachelor's degree to go and apply for my master's degree in education, and the National AFL-CIO came in looking for interns, and they took 6 Oregon students to Washington, D.C., and I applied, I was selected, and I went off to Washington, D.C. to learn the art of organizing. And so they taught me how to have transformational conversations versus transactional conversations. And after a week of training, they brought me back to my home state here in Oregon, and they placed me with the OSEA and AFT. And so I just want to give a shout out to The first thing that we did as an intern was I helped to organize the Mountain Hood Head Start workers. And seeing those folks form their union changed my life because I saw them get a voice in the job, and I saw them have a say in what their wages were going to be. I actually worked with Chris Hewitt at the time, and he's here with Life. My dad's a member of Layuna, and he's sitting here with his brothers and sisters from Layuna, so shout out to him. It was being an employee at AFT that I met my best friend, Soren Metzger, who taught me through transformational conversations about how politics actually decided on everything that happened, not only in my work life, because I was passionate about workers, and I was like, why can't we do this? And she's like, amiga, it's the legislature. And she would connect the dots for me about why politics are important, not only, for the laws that have to do with me having barriers and bargaining, but also like if my children were going to be able to buy a house. I'm a single mom of 4, and that is the job that makes me the proudest, and that is what moves me in life. So, because family is important to me, and because politics have a lot to do with everything we enjoy or we're missing, I decided to step up and take this district back. In 2022, we lost our seat by 500 votes. 500 votes, y'all. That's tonight. Today we're going to get those votes. Today we're going to get those votes between all of us. And so, I don't want to bring her up, but my opponent actually voted against a lot of the things that Randy Weingarten said here today. And she calls me a dangerous radical. I wear that badge proudly because if being a dangerous radical means that everybody has health care, I mean it. If being a dangerous radical means that everybody has affordable housing, call me dangerous radical. If being a dangerous radical means that workers have protections, I'm all for it. If being a dangerous radical means that my farm-working community gets the wages, the benefits, and gets to enjoy the freedoms that all of us in the labor movement have to enjoy, I'm all for it. of labor movement, since I'm Mexican and I love noise, are chants. And I have a favorite chant, and it's the one that says, "The people united will never be divided." But I think that a lot of people don't know the second stanza to that chant, which is, "El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado." And what that means is, when the people are silent, they won't be heard. Listen, in 2022, we were silent, and it cost us. It cost us for 2 years. All of the work that my friend, former Representative Teresa Alonso León in the room had done, is in jeopardy. I want to put that back. And so we're going to do a bilingual chant. People in English are going to say, "The people united will never be divided," and then people in Spanish are going to say, "El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado." And we're going to do it 5 times because I like the number 5. So here we go. The people united will never be divided. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. The people united will never be divided. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. The people united will never be divided. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. The people united will never be divided. El pueblo callado jamás será escuchado. Let's go get our seats on. I need money and I need votes. I've been out fundraised. So go over to that table, donate, there's envelopes, there's links that you can use. I need money, and then thank you so much for being out here today, knocking on doors for me. Let's get the seat back.
Hi everyone. All right, so before we get started with our canvas, we're just going to do a real quick training. My name is Spencer. It's nice to meet all of you.